Hello, everyone. My name is
Hello.
Lynn Duminy, aka Dr. Delta from Run It Back, here with the champions of the Sakura Cup, Shopify Rebellion. So today we have KP, Panini, and Diana with us. So, Shopify Rebellion, congratulations on your second win in the Sakura Cup, and thanks for joining me today.
Of
Yeah,
course. Hello.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good to be here.
Well, first, I just want to talk to you about your dominating run through the Sakura Cup. First, being that map you had on Breeze with Unbind Crouch. So, Panini, you went the whole map without a death. Could you just walk me through kind of what was your thought process when you realized like you're not dying? Like how did the team and how did you kind of respond to that?
So we were playing Breeze how we normally always play Breeze, but with a little bit more aggression, I want to say, a little bit more map control. But typically still how we normally kept it because our Breeze has always been pretty strong. And, it starts off, I'm used to playing retake B a lot of the times. Teams don't like going B. First, 2, 3 rounds, they just went A, and I was like, okay, no deaths, no kills, whatever. And then they came to my site. I had good timing, and then I was like 3-0. I think Han was like 6-0 at the time. I was like, okay, it's one of those games, like pretty cool. And usually, you typically expect to die at least once after that. And I was like, oh. And I guess I was just getting really lucky, and we were all just playing super, super well.
Yeah.
And I think when I was like 7-0 and Han was 9-0, KP goes $50 to who doesn't die or something like that. And I was like, all right, bet. But I was still making money moves. Like I was still pushing through my smoke. I was still going for the kills. And then I was like 12-0 at one point, and then I was like, oh shoot, like this actually could be a free $50. Like, all right. And I think Han already died at that point. But I was still going for it, and then we actually had someone make a YouTube video about us last night, and I watched it. I believe it was like Witness GG on Twitter or something. I watched it, and then the one round we lose, I ended up saving. It was a 1v4.
Right.
I get the person that pushes me, but when I'm watching the VOD back from my teammates' POV, I see KP flashing their 3-man flank from Halls, and I see KP flashing with her knife out, trying to knife somebody. And I was like, thank God I saved the round, because KP's trying to throw my bread. Like, what is this? Like, why is she? Like,
Okay,
why are they
I'm
throwing the round?
I'm gonna be honest. That strat we did on the final round was sick, and B, I honestly thought they were gonna be in the ring detained, so I was just running in there with my knife out, no hesitation. And then I realized I fucked up when I got into shop, and I was like, "Oh, that's an enemy." Whoops.
Yeah, and I just see her in the POV, like with her knife out, like swinging it. I'm like, oh my god! Like, thank God I just saved, because like, wow, that was just so funny. And so I just saved, and then like, I think I was 18-0. I didn't end up getting a kill the second half because I was just hiding. I was like, dude, there's like one more round. I'm just gonna hide. Like, I don't care. Like $50, like in my pocket, secured, whatever. It was cute too because I believe one of the girls was like flanking and she just didn't shoot me because she was like she was in on it, and I was like, you know what, like whatevs. Like that's awesome. And then and then KP sent me the $50 and I was like, dope. Like she's someone of her word. Like, all right.
Unlucky.
Yep.
This
Wow.
team is costing me money in the clutches.
Yeah, it's not the first bet that this
No,
team has
KP,
lost.
I still owe you 5 subs.
Yeah, you owe me 5 subs, and I owe Kayla dinner.
Wow. Well, I mean,
Lot of
that's
bets.
one way to motivate your teammates. So definitely is the IGL keeping things like fresh and just another way to motivate them. So that's so funny to hear. Definitely as an audience member, I was rooting for you, like making sure you stayed as safe as possible. So it's just cool to hear what was going on in like the background, what your comms were like. It must sound so exciting.
It was a really fun game. It's just
Mhm.
it was a fun sweep.
Yeah, definitely a fun game for everyone watching. And you mentioned just your attacks and your strategy on Breeze. So you all seem fairly confident on Breeze. Like it seems like you don't have that much trouble with that map because of how like dominant you are when you play that map. So I'm just curious as to, it being the newest map and some teams still haven't had their bearings on it. What has made your team so successful playing this map?
I
Um,
I think the only one of the factors definitely is because we caught on Breeze really early. Like, you know how like most teams would like lay off the new map, but we started practicing it right as it came out. And also Breeze is kind of like a long range map, so you just take gunfights and if you win them all, you're probably gonna win the round. So I think we're also really strong at
I
individual
think we're
gunfights.
really confident in ourselves and our
Mm-hmm.
ability to like get the kills. And I agree with Diana. Like I think a lot of teams are pretty reluctant on learning new maps just because I don't know, maybe they want to be stronger on the other maps, maybe they're a little slow, maybe they're just kind of like waiting for other people to see how they play, take some ideas. But for us, it's like the quicker you learn a map while other teams are slow to it, you kind of have that early advantage to it, and it can only get better from there.
I think another huge part of like our kind of dominance on Breeze, because to be honest, like Breeze was banned on us like pretty much the whole weekend. TSM's the only team that wanted to actually test our Breeze again. I think a huge part of that is just because like the way we play it, like we do not give a rat's ass what the other team wants to do. Like we have a set thing that we're gonna do every round, and we just play our game. I see a lot of other teams like on Breeze and Icebox especially, they just love like defaulting and the maps just the game like Icebox and Breeze are not Counter-Strike maps. You don't have to default. You can pretty much do something every round, and there's like a guaranteed that you'll set yourself up in a position to win.
Mhm.
And I feel like that just catches a lot of people off guard because it looks disrespectful. It looks like we're just running it down, but it's just the way we play the game. It's just the system we buy into.
Right. Well, and it's definitely working. Definitely tell that you have the advantage when it comes to Breeze in particular, but definitely all the other maps you've played for the Sakura Cup. So you faced TSM in the finals, basically a repeat from the last tournament. And for this tournament though, it seemed like you had TSM read pretty well. I was just curious, do you think it was prior experience playing against them, or did you counter strat them at all? Like, how is it that you were just able to perform so well against TSM?
The only thing I know that TSM does, the girls, is that they like double or triple flanking a lot, and it seems like they've kept that, and that's the only thing that we really need to be aware of. Whenever they're on a light or like a half buy or something, we're just like, oh, like they might double or triple flank, and that's really the only thing we look out for. We don't VOD review them. We don't look at their strats. I don't think we have VOD reviewed a team in a really long time. We kind of just play our game, like kind of like KP said. And I also want to add on like our new coach was very, very helpful in just understanding the game better, not like studying the other team. It was like making sure that we're more confident, protocols and like fundamentals that really, really helped and kind of like cleaned us up as a team.
Yeah.
Honestly, we didn't even counter strat them at all. We just came to the whole tournament just prepared and we just came out on top.
Yeah, I think like Vanessa said, our coach helped a ton just make us better. So that's why the series felt a lot more clean. Whereas the last Sakura, it was like a little bit back and forth. They took a map off us. It was very close. This one felt a lot more dominant. I would say like Vanessa said, our coach just helped elevate us to that next level. And we don't counter shot other teams. We don't look at other teams. It's kind of a waste of time. And I think the only thing that we do, like, well, not the only thing, but what we did exceptionally better than TSM in that series was mid rounding. I think as a unit, as all 5 players, we played the middle of rounds like way better than they did. Like the start of the
Yeah.
round was normal from them. You know, the start of the round, they're in their standard positions, but it was what they did in the like thinking on their feet is where we had them beat in like every aspect of that series.
Yeah, I just want to point out like KP is an amazing mid-rounding IGL. So it's really helpful.
Nice.
Thank you.
So
KP.
I did have a question. So the one map that you did drop against gen.g Team Bumble on Split, so what do you think happened that map? And I was wondering what your thought process was when you were down during that map.
Okay. Basically,
Yeah.
we griefed. Basically, there's no other way to put it. We just griefed a little bit. I mean, that game, I went back and skimmed it. We were up 6-4, and I died mid, and Lori she traded 2 kills in response, but then like swung mid with res and died, and then we all died to pistols, and then like there was so many rounds on defense. We had the man advantage, and we just got caught out in mid for no reason. I think we just got a little flustered, and we weren't really like thinking despair or like the darkest thoughts. It was more just like, fuck, like we fucking griefed. Like I always say, like that's why it's a best of 3, so accidents don't happen. And so far that's been pretty true. Even when sometimes we lose a map or like we really, really mess up bad, we end up winning the series anyways. And I think we showed that just by going to map 3 and kind of stomping them.
Yeah, I agree with KP. I would also describe it as like I can tell everyone is getting a little flustered, and then once we started losing rounds, we should have. I can tell everyone was kind of getting just like flustered, and mentals were getting a little bit out of the loop. But that was something that we've gotten a lot better at is keeping our mentals like really strong. But there's always that one game where things can kind of go to shit, and it's a little grief, but it happens. But it's always the part that matters is like if you're able to regain or not. And we were able to do that, kind of just brushed it off. Same thing KP said, like accidents happen, but we were able to get past it.
Okay, it sounds just like a lot of just trying to get past any issues that you might have, any grief that you might have, and like working together as a team to build and fix any mistakes for that next game.
Yeah, I still think like our split is pretty strong. It's just that we also didn't get to practice it enough as well. So we were just kind of like, yeah, okay. After that split game, we were like, yeah, let's just not play split. So
I see. Well, another thing I was curious about is the fact that you all have a 6-person roster. So a lot of teams, they haven't been able to make that kind of setup work. I was just curious as to how are you all able to make it work so well for you?
Well, I think we just incorporate of more of like, oh, if you're stronger on this map, sure, you could go ahead and play this map. It's just more of like everyone's strengths and everyone's weaknesses. If you don't like playing the certain map or like it's just your playstyle doesn't fit it, then you could just have someone, oh, can you play for me instead on this map? So like how Lori's like the main opera, right? And we played Jet on Haven, but she got a score that she has been traumatized. So so I play that map now. And we're just been trying to we've just been trying balancing it out.
I think I've seen a lot of because I've actually gotten a few messages from people casting our matches or people analyzing our matches, and they say, KP, how do you guys work the 6-player roster? Because I have no idea. Because they look at our games and they're like, there's no pattern to who's in and who's out, and I think that's really, really like it makes us kind of strong and difficult to deal with because it's totally dependent on not only how we're feeling but also who we're playing against. So like for example, like Flowerful or Kayla is our like Daddy Sentinel player. Like Killjoy, Cypher, sometimes Viper. Like she's really, really good at those roles. But let's say like on Breeze, for example, let's say we're playing a team that we know is just bad, like they're just bad, or they just lack like they lack a good Sentinel player. Their Sentinel is really bad. Sometimes we could run double duelist, and so Lori and Diana are in the game, and Flowerful steps out. Most of the time, the swaps are between Diana, Lori, and Han, depending on if we want double duelist or if we want Sova and a single duelist. But I mean, even recently, Panini or Vanessa swapped out on Bind, and our Bind definitely looked better for the event. Like we used to hate Bind, played it in Sakura this recent Sakura, and like it looked decent. Like we looked pretty good on it.
That's really interesting. And yeah, I agree that will probably make you a force to be reckoned with trying to figure out what's going on with your company, that you have that much trust in each other to have the flexibility and to work. So that's quite an impressive feat.
Yeah, for me it was a little nerve-wracking, but I know Han, Lori, and Diana are used to sitting out maps. I know Diana, I think, still gets a bit anxious, like looking at the scores sometimes. She's telling me, like, guys, I'm just waiting for the score to go up. Like, I'm waiting
Bro,
for it
I
to say
see
13.
like sometimes like that split map especially. I just see like you guys are up so many rounds and I'm just staring at my scoreboard waiting for it to turn
Right.
13. Oh my.
Yeah, but that's how I felt when Vine came along. I was like, it's like the first time I'm ever like sitting out, and I'm just like, oh, like I trust my team, but at the same time, it's always like it's a little nerve-wracking to not be in there in the map, because as a player, you can't control the outcomes or anything. All you can do is watch and like support your team, but it's something to get used to for sure.
Okay, that's really interesting, and to hear kind of how you can support like as a cheerleader, but then also the stress involved of just watching your
There's still
team.
some stress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like you're not just
Yeah.
chilling back, you're actually actively like, oh my
No,
goodness.
no one's chilling. We're dialed in, still
Wow.
dialed in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I also have a question in terms of your plans for the future. So I noticed that you are playing in some tournaments outside of, the general women's tournaments. So what are your plans to, compete in those tournaments? And then also, what are the differences that you have noticed playing in something like a Sakura Cup versus those tournaments?
Um, well, I guess like I'll start. So when I first joined the team, I definitely came in with the goal of like, first we want to take number one in the female scene, and then after that, because I don't think of the team as a female team, I just think we're a team. Like I don't care about gender, and I want us to push into any tournament, like tier one, tier two, tier three, whatever it may be, whether it's like VCS, normal VCT, NSGs, Pittsburgh Knights events. I want us to go as far as absolute possible because the team has the capability to do so. Like, I wouldn't be leading a team that I don't believe in, and I don't think every player is like incredibly strong. And I think that's something that's really, really gonna help us like long term with this squad is there's not one of us that's known on our team as like the star or like the best player. Any one of us, like we've all talked about this before, any single one of us at any time can just pop off just because we work well as a unit. And so our goals, I think, next are definitely I would start small. Like our goal right now, I guess, is to just play some of the open tournaments and just take a huge upset off the team. Like any team that's in top 30-ish on VLR. Just get ourselves higher on VLR is even a goal. And the difference between playing in the female events versus the open events, um, for me, I try not to think about it too much. I don't know if Vanessa and Diana want to chime in a little bit on this point, but I guess the biggest difference that I've noticed currently is in the open events, sometimes teams just try to run it down on us, or they like try to absolutely disrespect us. And sometimes it works in our favor because we just punish them. But sometimes it's really hard to deal with. Like it's another level of competition that we have to get used to.
I agree with KP here. When it comes to those puggier teams, I want to say, disrespectful teams is like when we come into these female teams, a lot of them play very by the book. They play very serious. They play like as a team. But sometimes we go into VCS and it's like, oh, like why is this Omen 1v1ing down mid for no reason? Like his teammates are on A, like they need the smokes. Like it's like what? And we get thrown off by stuff like that, and it's kind of just they're really just running it down, and it catches us by surprise, and it's just like really weird stuff like Sova lurks, and it's like what? Like that makes no sense, and but it's kind of stuff we need to get used to and punish more. Like KP said, like sometimes their Sova does lurk, we catch them out, and it's like now their team is stuck with no initiator. Like oh no, like that's an easy round for us, but some teams are just really good at it, and I want to say VCS2 is more like unpredictable, or some of the open tournaments are more unpredictable. Just because you don't know what you're going into, it can be a lot more random. Um, but yeah, I also think they're a really good learning experience because sometimes we see them do crazy strats that I would have like, never thought of, or some of us would have never thought of, and it's really cool to steal stuff from.
Oh, it sounds like a great learning opportunity. And so basically, with what you're saying, does it sound is is it a correct assumption that you all plan to compete in whatever the circuit is for next year? I don't know if they're going to do a Valorant Champions tour, but is your intent to compete in those as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
of
think
course.
we definitely don't want to just limit to ourselves just female tournaments. I don't want to place a name on us just only female tournaments. Of course, we want to, of course, blend in with like just the whole community, not just limited to just females.
We also try to compete in almost like any good tournament that there is, just to get like our experience.
Okay, well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm sure plenty of your fans are looking forward to you competing in more tournaments and more opportunities to cheer you all on. So, Shopify Rebellion, congrats again on your stellar win in the Sakura Cup. Best of luck to you in your future tournaments, and thanks again for taking the time to share with us your story.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
for
me.
Thank
inviting
you.
us. Thank you.
Bye.
That's all for our interview today. Make sure you check us out on the Run It Back site. Make sure you follow all the socials for all the latest news on Shopify Rebellion and other teams as well. And also look out for more interviews like this in the future. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.